I'm doing this for every woman's right to choose.
Por las mujeres del Salvador.
For Filipino women.
For the women of Texas.
For the women of North Dakota who deserve a choice.
Everyone who stands up for reproductive rights has a reason why.
Everyone has their own story.
Everyone remembers when they got sick enough of the attacks on reproductive rights
to do something about it.
Everyone has their own way of fighting back.
Of standing up.
And speaking out. Everyone has to decide for themselves where they're going to draw the line.
The Philippines has one of the most restrictive legal environments on reproductive rights. The lack of access to modern contraceptives exposes women to a cycle of violence. First, the violence they face from their husbands when they try to abstain from sex during their fertile periods, and then the violence that comes from unsafe abortions.
We had a very conservative Catholic mayor that restricted access to contraceptives based on an executive order. Pills, condoms, IUDs, ligation were actually banned. It's really when you go to these places such as Tondo that you realize the impact of restrictive policies on poor women who are not able to get access to modern contraceptives. They are denied their reproductive rights.
Takot po akong masunod-sunod ang anak kasi po mahirap po ang buhay namin eh. Wala po akong trabaho, kulang talaga. Lalo pag nagkasakit ang mga bata.
Ultimong pills hindi ko mabili. Kasi 50 pesos ang pinakamababang pills dito sa Pilipinas. Ang 50 pesos is marami na ako magagawa sa pamilya ko. So dumating ang time ng pagbubuntis ko na itong pang-5 na halos ikamatay ko na. Sobrang daming infection ang dumating sa akin. Hindi ako natatakot sa sarili ko. Ang kinatatakot kong mamatay doon sa mga anak ko. Paano sila pag namatay ako?
No quiero que se vuelva a repetir mi historia. No quiero que se condene a otra mujer injustamente por un aborto espontáneo.
Cristina was pregnant with her second child. During her 8th month of pregnancy, she felt a terrible pain one night, and she went to the bathroom where she lost her baby. She was accused of having aborted her child.
Cuando desperté yo me encontraba en un quirófano de un hospital. Yo pregunté por mi bebé y la doctora no me contestó nada. Y lo más turbante en ese momento quizás fue que él me dijo, estás detenida por el asesinato de tu hijo. Yo sentía que el mundo se derrumbaba en mí. Me dolía por mí, me dolía por mi hijo que dejaba afuera, porque no era justo que por haber perdido a mi hijo se me pagara de esta manera.
May the precious blood that pours out from there protect us in all our ways against the plans.
I've been called a lot of interesting things. I think my personal favorite was when I was called a member of a satanic Nazi abortion death squad.
So what those who oppose abortion care are trying to do in our state is to make women who need abortion care feel stigmatized, feel as if needing this service and coming to this clinic is a shameful, awful thing.
I hope they know that it's not an easy decision to make. It's a personal decision, and I don't feel it's fair for me to be influenced and persuaded by people who are not facing the same challenges that I face in life.
There is no woman who is walking up to an abortion clinic that hasn't thought it through, that isn't torn in some way.
Being the only abortion provider, it's so difficult to provide this service in this state where we are so targeted by the legislature and by protesters who would like to see an abortion-free state.
If we did not have a clinic near North Dakota or in North Dakota, I would not be able to afford to travel somewhere outside of the state to get to get the services that we get here.
In countries where abortion has been made illegal, like in El Salvador, we know that abortion doesn't stop, it just becomes unsafe. And that's what's concerning, is that could happen here.
We had one of the most onerous bills in the country pass into law here in Texas. It's going to reduce access to what appears to be at least 22,000 women.
We could go down to just 5 clinics in a huge state where abortion services are already hard to access.
It's a terrible, terrible scenario. People who are already struggling will struggle even more. There'll be many people who just won't have a safe legal option.
And they're going to take matters into their own hands. You're going to see people trying to self-abort. They're going to be going to back alley people who have no training.
The best example I can give of this, and it gives me chills to even mention it, I saw a 16-year-old who'd had an abortion in Mexico, and her uterus was so infected that I had to do a hysterectomy on this poor 16-year-old in order to save her life.
People are really needed here. People are willing to stand up and fight these fights and speak for the women who don't have voices, are really needed in the center of the country.
There's a common sense and a wisdom and a decency in our women that needs to be protected and needs to be upheld.
I never dreamt that 40 years after Roe, we'd be fighting this fight, but we can't afford to lose.
Every day, the Center for Reproductive Rights is working to ensure that women have the dignity of making the decisions about their reproductive lives.
We are bringing women's stories to national courts in the Philippines and to the UN.
I'm on the front lines fighting to ensure that every woman has equal access to reproductive health care, no matter where she lives.
Red River Women's Clinic would not be here today if not for the Center for Reproductive Rights and their ability to come in, provide the legal muscle that it takes to fight these unconstitutional laws.
And they understand how critical the services we provide to women are in multiple states that are under siege right now.
We go to courts, to human rights bodies, talk to policymakers, and we're not going to stop.
I do this because I believe in justice.
I'm standing up for the rights of my children, my 2 beautiful daughters.
What keeps me going is thinking about the women that I've worked with and helped. And I'll keep going. I'll keep going until the fight's over.
When politicians stand in the way of our decision
about our lives, our families, and our future.
When they try to drive reproductive health care providers out of practice.
When they try to deny women the essential health care they need.
When they try to take away our dignity,
our autonomy,
and our freedom.
When they deny women their fundamental human rights.
This is where we draw the line.
This is where we draw the line.
This is where we draw the line.
Stand with us.
Tell your story.
Raise your voice.